Welcome back, ladies and gentle nerds, to the DoorDash LCO. I'm here, I'm a nerd too. Welcome. We're going to have a good nerdy time. And to kick off things, festivities, some say, before we jump into the third match of the evening, we have some content from the fans. And it's exactly what I asked for as well. So let's have a look at this. Thank you, Squid Meeps from Twitch chat.
Oh.
Hey, Mac, how you going? Can someone please... Oh, sorry. Can you please ask Skimmy why he's so beautiful? And please tell Jubes that he's beautiful. So, hey, Skimmy, how do you stay so beautiful? And also, Jubes, you're beautiful, mate.
What I do is I give you VIP in chat. I
Ooh.
say that you deserve to be there. And look, I'll take those compliments for free. And, share the love.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Hey, Ma, thanks for making that burner account.
There you have it. That is Jube's mum. So make sure to see Squid Meeps in Twitch chat. That's
Thank
actually Groovy Juvie, Mama Juvie.
Well,
So-
look, once COVID's gone, like I'm over to Melbourne, we'll hang out. He'll introduce me and say, oh, cool, you got some positive friends, interesting, cool.
If you want to have a sleepover, no joke, when COVID's done, I got a spare room and everything,
We'll
PC
send it,
and all
mate.
that.
We'll do it. It's happening.
Yep.
Bloody bromance going on next to me here. It's so cute. Bringing a tear to my eye. And T. Richardson, 25 at
That's a good
LCO.
one.
Only speak the truth. Winterer is the coolest in the LCO. I don't think it needed to be said. I think everyone was thinking of it anyway, but maybe it was something that needed to be said. So thank you, Thomas, or
I love that
Thomas, however you pronounce it. Yeah, it could be Thomas.
I actually know how to say that name. It's
Yeah.
it's Thomas.
Oh. So it's like a silent H, yeah? H?
Well, no, you say
Do you
Thomas.
say H with a H, or do you say
I say H.
with the
I
silent?
say H, yeah. This divides people, doesn't it? It really does.
No, it's H.
Debated.
Wait, it's the same as like HP or HP?
No, H. Like triple H. No one
Oh.
says triple H.
Don't they?
It's
That
triple
sounded-
H.
Are you saying Triple H or Triple H?
Triple H, the
I've
wrestler.
always said Triple H.
A Triple H.
Yeah, well, cut that one out of the VOD.
Well, another word that has a silent H is how you going. So let's
True.
talk Gravitas and Order and see how they're going. So Gravitas first, of course. Let's bring them up and have a quick, I was going to say quick chat, but that's not our job. That's Nat's job later. Have a quick look at them at least. Nobody. Who's that? That's not Safa. What's
Nah.
going on? He's a handsome looking fella, Juice.
Yeah, nobody. So nobody is a player that is quite the opposite to Safa, I would say. Plays
Okay.
more of those tankier type team fight champions. Maybe he'll throw a curveball in and just whip out the Fiora, who knows? But for the most part, like that's where his bread and butter lies. Just being that front line for his team makes a lot of sense when you pair that with the Akano. Because now Akano has like, does he go Kyosei? Does he go to Thomas Shen? Maybe nobody be left on a little bit of an island. I'm excited to see this new look Gravitas, right? So yeah, I mean, nobody's here. And I was trying to think of a nobody meme, but I didn't get it.
Who?
He's going to come somebody after this game, Jubes, is what you're going for,
Oh,
mate.
righto. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you get paid the big bucks and I pick up the
absolutely,
crumbs.
Well, I'm here to back you up, mate. We're a partner in crime.
Yeah, and that's why I'll help you with the crumbs.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll collect those crumbs and bake some new bread so you can get the real deal.
Oh, we got the bread here. Don't worry about that.
I love just letting whatever you guys do happen, and it just grows into something amazing, just like Gred, Gred? Bread. Words.
He's in on the skit, guys. He's in.
What
It's
am
happening.
What's this doing? Oh, it's coming to me. It's coming to me. Order. Oh, let's
Yep.
talk Order, huh? Isn't that something?
Yes.
They're the other team in this game. Very important because they are currently second, and to stay, well, technically they're currently third. To stay second, though, they need to get this dub today. So it's a very important game for them, Skimmy, and they've been playing out of their damn minds.
They really have. I mean, sky's the ceiling, really, for these guys. Sky's the limit, as you'd say, really, because these guys have really put a challenge to Chiefs to say we're the most improved team from Split 1 to 2, right? They bomb out of playoffs, they grinded hard, they covered in clearly. They've shown that, they mean business. And the team, the reason I like this team so much is because their drafts, their variations of what we've seen are so wild, right? We've seen teams stick very cookie cutter. This is what works for us. This is what we're going to hard force every single game. Maybe a few changes here and there, but they seem very flexible to not only the meta, like we're bringing out Graves again, but also to the fact that we're going to a particular team, they play for macro, they play for team fights. This is how we counteract them with a single pick or a style. And it's not necessarily all about Kevy. Whilst he's had some really big performances and been a welcome addition to the roster, you would be very happy having the best bot lane, at least MVP-wise, in the league.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be very rough for Gravitas today, even just with the roster swap. Although that is something I like to say, and I'm happy to be wrong about that, just because so far from what we've seen with Gravitas, they've just been so damn good playing around Safa. So I'm interested to see how this one goes for them, and I'm interested to hear from the players as well. So let's bring Nat back in to the conversation, have a quick chat with her. Are you excited for this matchup? You have to say yes, so...
Yes, I'm so excited.
Thank you, Nat. And who do you have down there for the pregame?
I'm going to be joined by Max and Floppy for this pregame interview. I'm very excited. Thank you both so much for joining me. Floppy, I want to start with you. You know, we saw last Wednesday you take a little bit of a break and have that day off, but now you're back. How are you feeling, and how is having that day off?
I think the stress of Super Weeks in general is quite it's quite high. So going back to 2 weeks and having that day off, I feel like it's also getting to the end of the splits. So I think there's a lot less pressure, and I think there's more time to reflect on the games and more time to prepare. So I'm feeling a lot more ready.
That's good. I'm very glad to hear that. We do see some roster changes happening for you guys, though. We have nobody in the top lane. How is that going to impact your gameplay for tonight?
Well, without revealing too much, I think nobody... I mean, Juve said he's basically just the complete opposite of Safa. So I think... well, stylistically, we're going to be very different, but also I think in terms of drafting, I think this will throw a curveball in terms of... well, how Order should have prepped for our draft, knowing or expecting Safa, and then nobody comes in. So I think that will benefit us. I don't want to go into too much detail other than that, though.
For sure. I mean, you've made me very excited for this matchup. But Max, how is it down there over on the side of Order? How are you guys feeling coming into this game?
Yeah, good. I mean, I think the change of Safa from nobody doesn't really change much. Before they were going to pick Camille, now they're just going to pick Ornn. So we're not really too stressed about any draft prep or any changes that we might have to make. We're feeling pretty confident heading into tonight.
Oh, well, look, you already answered my next question, but that is good to hear. So then I want to know, who do you think is going to be the biggest threat on the team if you think not too much is going to be changing?
From Gravitas, it's definitely Kyose. I think he's been the standout player all year, and particularly last night. He basically 1v9 the game. I was just trying to drag the rest of his teammates across the finish line. So I think he could definitely stand out and have some pop-off games.
Well, look, I'll let you both go. Good luck in the game tonight, and thank you both so much for joining me.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you.
Well, let's see how that one goes for them. And let's have a quick look in with how we think this one's going to go. We'll bring up those predictions and have a quick chat about why it's going to be Order Jubes, huh?
Well, I know Skimmy's copying me, so he stays one ahead no matter what.
True.
But no, Order, I think they're just too good across the board, like we've been, talking about. Probably the most improved team, and arguably, not arguably, this is for second place for them. So there's a lot on the line for this game. And I think just the combination of Puma, Beats, Maximite, the whole roster, they're just playing so well at the moment together. So, I mean, it's just across the board, a bit too steep of a mountain.
Okay, and everyone is on the Order bandwagon. So let's see if Twitch chat swings my vote to be a Gravitas predictor or not this game. Although it is going to be very hard for them. So it looked like Order, confident as always. That's something they're definitely known for. And it's going to be an extremely hard fight in terms of the junglers. Yes, Akano has been doing a pretty damn good job every now and then, but up against Kevy, this man has just been going absolutely insane. Now, 8 p.m. It's a good time to get yourself some Krispy Kreme, some Macca's Sundays. I don't know, whatever you feel like. You pick your poison. Exclamation DoorDash. Make it happen. Get some in ya, because I certainly will. I'm damn hungry, not only for some action, but also for some content, and that's what we've got here. It is Kyose, Floppy, and Safa having a quick chat and getting to know one another.
There's just so many people on my team. Might go. Oh, dude, I should have done Polish fan. Yeah, nah, it's big lip for me. You do Ezreal. Ezreal, bro.
You think he actually looks like
he's a walking Ezreal, bro. Yeah, 100%.
Two of us agreed. That was Thomas Shan.
Yeah,
It was
you know,
Thomas Shan.
To be,
It
not,
is.
not, I'm gonna stick by Tom. I'm
He
gonna
gives
stick
off
by
K-pop
Piglet.
idol vibes.
Just Piglet. Okay, well, I already know.
Did you say Sava?
He even wrote himself. Like,
Unlucky. That's got to be influenced by yesterday.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a freebie.
Wait.
Sure, yeah.
Alright, tell you what you guys aren't really. I mean, yeah, it's usually you guys are, so I blame you guys, to be honest.
that's so easy. Oh no, it isn't. Oh.
That's so easy. Oh, wait, no, it's not. This makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's
Here we go, jumping into draft. Gravitas taking on Order. Order needing a much-needed win here to continue their jump to the top of the league, as they are currently sitting in second place, tied with the Chiefs. As for Gravitas, well, a win here today would continue their dream to slot into that final fifth position. They've had 5 defeats on the row now, Juve, so a chance for them to try and bounce back with a bit of a different roster.
And it'll be a good win just to put the pressure back onto Legacy, onto Peace, right? Because I believe if they win that game, obviously Peace still have to play tonight. They go even. It's like 3 or 7 and 10, or 7 and 9. Anyway, the Gwen pick up here says to me that maybe that's a nobody angle. Maybe nobody's on the Gwen. Now it's not your traditional tanky top lane, but we definitely see Gwen left to her own devices, left in isolation in the 1v1. So it still makes sense in how that they want to stylistically play the game at least. But I mean, Graves, Order picking up Graves in 1-2. Like, do I need to touch on that, or have we all been here?
No, we've seen it enough. He pretty much played it every single game of Super Week and said, you haven't banned it, so I will become the MVP. I'll become the reason this champion gets nerfed, perhaps. You know, remove that to AD. It's just going to lock it in. If it's not banned, it just seems to be a case of guaranteed first pick rotation, either side, blue or red.
Look, I think that Graves is a very strong pick right now, but I think when you draft Graves this early, you can pick compositions to get away with shutting down the Graves. So the first thing that you do is obviously you pick range, right? If you outrange Graves, it's going to have a tough time. The second thing that you can do is pick a tankier composition, because he's going to go for the Dark Harvest lethality route, and that's where I think a lot of Graves' strength lies. So the bigger the bodies, the longer the range, like you can make Graves have a way tougher time in that game.
Yeah, for sure. And be interesting to see what they can actually put together, right? Because they've gone for the range and the Aphelios. Clearly, the try and hard dive there with the likes of a Gwen that can get accelerated and one-shot people, but they've gone for the Fresh as well, and that could be actually a huge pick to then go into this Twisted Fate. Knowing that Chongi loves to play the utility, he's stuck with for a fair bit of them, and whilst Rise is really starting to rise to fruition, Twisted Fate still really ticks all the boxes, right?
Well,
CC, rotations, it's all there.
But we don't even see much Rise. I mean, we haven't seen much Rise. It seems like it's just like an LCK special at the moment. And maybe a little bit of LPL, because they do just play the map so much more. They do hit the side lanes, they do play for the turret dives. Whereas Order, I think, benefit a lot from the TF because of the way that Kevy plays the game, right? Like, they draft him the Graves. We know he's going to be aggressive. We know he's going to invade. We know he's probably going to favor the jungle matchup. I genuinely think, and again, I haven't had a conversation with him, and maybe this is for an interview with Nat, but I think he thinks Graves wins all matchups, or at least has a decent enough time so that he can play for invading with Chongi and play for the 2v2. I think they're just that confident at the moment.
Well, you just certainly have to imagine, right? If he's picking it blindly, he just doesn't care. He says, I'm a better player than you, or I can pilot this champion into any matchup and know how to navigate it.
There's no particularly bad like Graves matchup. You know what used to be the worst one was the Nidalee. But when you come up against Gravitas, you know they're not going to pick the Nidalee, and even then, Nidalee is very hard to pilot and operate. Particularly with hard engaged supports, right? In solo queue, you can get away with it at times due to just the nature of how the variability in champ select. But obviously playing Nidalee into Leona is a bit of a rough time, and certain other champions. But again, Akano, we've never seen him play it, have we?
No, so we get to figure out what it all looks like. Okay. Well,
it's an accident,
I did see,
or not?
Well, I have seen in the LPL they played a Brand 80 carry.
Oh, okay.
So the evolution of Ziggs, when it was banned away, they did lock this one in. They did have a very brawler-centric comp, so pretty much the opposition would group up and the Pyroclasm got infinite value from it. Whether or not from Chungy's reaction, even Puma's reaction, who's usually a stone-faced killer, maybe he's like, we're doing it.
I don't know if it was a genuine mistake, but if I had to argue for concept, and again, like, I'm not knocking this, like, it's just something that we haven't seen. Like, maybe this is something that's really good. but seriously, where I think the power of the brand lane lies is that you outrange the Aphelios, and it's like you wither the Aphelios down until Leona can go in, and then you just, like, win the all-in, right? That'd be the theory. And brand is pretty safe in isolation. Like, to dive the brand, you're trading 1-for-1 at minimum, right? So if Leona wants to leave lane and assist the Graves, picking. I thought that was locked in. I literally...
You had me worried for a second to tell you that much. I seen your heart dropping on my... I see Yuumi on my screen, then the picking flashes, and all is good in the world again. They need some hard 80 damage, right? They've got a fair bit of magic right now. Obviously, you could look at Kevy being one component of that. Gonna run it back, though, with a Camille. So no Sapphire to try and respond to this matchup.
Yeah, I'll have to do a little bit more brand research, but I would imagine it's the same concept as the Ziggs. Why we saw Ziggs in the bot lane was for the outranging, the scaling, and just the overall, like, safety of it. Whilst brand doesn't have the same safety as the Ziggs, like I talked about, you can't just dive him. He trades 1-for-1 at a minimum with the bounce on the ultimate. Yeah. But I'm super excited to see it. But that's as far as I can go in terms of theory crafting for the brand.
But I'm trying to look at the match history, and I can't find it on the LPL page. I watched the VOD, I saw it in action, and it just crushed.
Did it win? That it won?
I believe it did. Yeah. I mean, I need to remember exactly what VOD it was, but it's for another time. That's what we have on our screen here. It isn't going to be the Ziggs Leona, it's going to be the brand Leona. A lot of fire damage, a lot of aggression, a lot of push, and a lot of shove to keep the likes of this Aphelios fresh at bay.
This Trundle pick I'm not really a big fan of, in the sense that it's an old school, like, very good Graves matchup, because Graves takes, well, nowadays Graves doesn't do it, but Graves used to take phase rush, so then you just phase rush around the pillar, and you're in a bit of trouble. But, you know, this is a different iteration of Trundle, and yes, like, Trundle has a sustain, can build tanky and whatever, but for the most part, at the one item power spike with the Dark Harvest, Graves is just going to have a lot of kill potential, particularly pair that with, like, a gold card from Twisted Fate. The matchup itself, I'm not the biggest fan of, but again, Akano's never really been the player that plays for the 1v1, right? Like, we never really see him invade. We don't see him, like, play for solo kills. It's just all about ganking, and I mean, that Trundle pillar is going to be, I guess, a tool that they'll be able to utilize.
They certainly will, and he's going to have their work cut out for them, because you look at the side of Gravitas, and they got themselves some clear engage, some windows with CC to try and lock a key target down and pop off. You mentioned that Kyoso probably has been the best player on this roster. He's been the only player, really, that hasn't been swapped out with the variation of members that Gravitas have at their disposal. So he'll be looking to have a big performance here on the Zoe. Whereas for Order, you know, it seems to be business as usual. Very much sticking to their comfort, but continuing to dazzle us with a little bit of spice in the draft. Let's bring Poltron into discussion and talk about this one. And first of all, I suppose address the elephant in the room. What about that brand pick?
Yeah, definitely a curveball, Skimmy. Did not expect the brand pick at all. Not too sure if this is some, you know, super strong matchup for them bot, but I do have full confidence in my bot lane on their comfort picks of Aphelios Thresh, so hopefully, you know, they do well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll just bring it back to you guys. A few roster changes to split already. I believe it's like the 4th change you've made now, and truly starting to utilize, right, the subs and whatnot that you have at your disposal. Given that we've seen them being used perhaps on a game-by-game basis, is it very much a matchup-specific thing?
I'd say it's less about the matchup. I would say the first half of the split, we were doing pretty well. And Sarf was mainly, you know, that key element that, you know, basically he was a Gravitas player that delivered, you know, always bringing home the dubs. But I do think, especially over the last 2 weeks, other teams have just really understood how, okay, you know, you put Sarf behind, Gravitas is now that much of a weaker team. And it's something that, well, today at least, we put a nobody, obviously. His first game in Split 2. We have a very different team dynamic, and hopefully it's big enough of a curveball to, you know, bring home the dub.
Absolutely, because I mean, you've certainly defied expectations, right? Doubling the amount of wins you achieved from Split 1 to 2. with playoffs still very much within grasp, you know, not many games left to go, what would an upset against a team like Order mean for you guys to, you know, keep yourself in the running?
Oh, it'd be huge. You know, taking a win off Order tonight, being able to have that, you know, 7-win scoreline tied with Legacy and possibly Peace if they lose tonight, it'll just mean the world of difference, both mentally and in terms of standings.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk quickly about your draft before we crack on with things. Obviously, you see a big focus towards this Aphelios Thresh. There's no surprises there, but Kyose seems to be the man on the money so far, right? The one that continues to dazzle and can pretty much play it all right, receiving a lot of bans towards him. Is there a bit more of a leadership role now on his shoulders, given that we've heard that Sapphire has been a pretty vocal voice in the team?
Yeah, we've definitely moved the leadership roles and shot calling down to both Akano and Kyose. I think they're a very strong mid-jungle duo, and hopefully we'll have them run over the early game today.
Fantastic. All right, mate. Well, pleasure as always talking to you, Poltron. And
thanks for having me.
Cracking with the game. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Not much happening in the early game, Skimmy. What is a full clear for Kevi is a gank for Akano, and maybe the flash. Yeah, the flash being burnt there very early on from Chungy, and top lane matchup. Not much of anything, right? Just some HP trades, but Wave is in a good spot for nobody. He's going to be able to pick this one up, and both top laners have the ignite, so probably see some fireworks up there.
Be very excited to see what could break out from this one. It's cool to hear from the coaches, given that we are at the tail end of the split, right? And we are starting to see a lot of those substitutions used, be it form, be it change, be it the flexibility that is from, you know, forming habits across the split, and things need to break up. We touched on it briefly before, right? It's a 5-loss streak. Hopefully they can break it here tonight.
And I mean, it's like the I guess you're hoping for that honeymoon period, right? New player comes in, changes the dynamic a little bit. You know, you pick up the momentum, get the win, and then who knows, right? I mean, it happens. I believe it happens more often than not, where you sub a player out, bring in a new player, and you start picking up a couple wins. So I think Gravitas will be hoping for much of the same.
But just whilst things are starting to settle into this game, I did manage to actually track down the VOD of the game that I was thinking of where Brand was played. It was actually played by LGD in the LPL. They actually played the same lane matchup of a Brand Leona. In terms of itemization, actually rushed Rylai's first into Leandri's and was an absolute pain to deal with. So yeah. I'm excited to see how that one plays out.
It makes sense too, because the coaching staff from Order I know quite well, and they have a very big... Kevy's here as well.
Well, he's not wasting any time for that one right now. Beach jumps in, hits the aftershock. Proc, will that be enough to protect him? Oh, he survived somehow. That is criminal. Gravitas were denied the first blood, and they might be denied a second potential first blood as members are there to block the paddle star.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a tentative commitment from Gravitas. I feel like they could have walked forward, got that extra auto attack. I mean, Thomashen has both summons, Floppy has flash. Yeah, like, you know, there's just summoners across the board. I mean, that's a first blood, but again, like, it's good discipline in the sense that they still have a CS lead, they're still able to push this wave in, and they're still able to get the resets off, but, you know, first blood's a nice one to have, even if it is just for, like, confidence, morale, whatever you want to call it.
How will things play out here in the top lane? Big shoes to fill. But we have actually mentioned ourselves a few times in the broadcast, right? When Sapphire is ahead, he can definitely 1v9. And if Sapphire gets focused, it feels like the team at times has fallen down as a result. Honeymoon period might be the difference maker here, but it's not going to get much easier for nobody as the Hextech Ultimatum locks him in place. Missed or not, lights out first blood.
Yeah, first blood, and I wonder if nobody dropped the Ignite, would that have made a difference for him there? But I mean, big solo queue, and it's already a pretty big CS lead topside, right? And if you look at the wave of nobody, that's pushing back to Maximize. So, I mean, this CS lead from Maximize is only going to get bigger. And this topside, you know, while still early, it's going to be a point of concern. Because, I mean, he's gankable on this wave. Like, I don't even know if he gets this one in time. I can't really see the wave at the moment. But if he doesn't get that wave in and that's just outside a turret, like, that's a Twisted Fate ultimate topside, and he's dead again.
May just be lucky as the camera stays topside to let us see and find out the answers that we're all waiting with Beta Breath for.
Yeah, I mean, but there's still another wave. Like, that stays outside turret.
Yeah.
And, like, say, I mean, like, Kevy's already making a V-line for it, right? Like, he's literally dead. I mean, there is no ultimate from Maximize, but It's watered out. Okay, good ward from nobody. He's got to wait for this wave to come back now, but I believe it is frozen. And this is just the blue buff taken.
Yeah, zoned away from the XP, zoned from the CS. Now, needs a bit of reinforcement, needs some help from the mid lane, and that's what he's going to find in Kyose, who's going to pop the Shurelya's activatable.
Oh,
Not gonna hit
lands.
the star, but does hit the sleepy trouble bubble, and respect is shown there as Kevy's forced to use his own flash, so the blue buff still isn't on the cards, and nobody can look to return to his, this lane state.
Well, they got the Destiny as well from Chunny. So he burnt the TF ultimate thinking that there was going to be a bit of a commit there, but nobody backed off, and hang on a minute.
Oh, flash play! 2 members locked in place there by Floppies. They're looking for the kill on towards Puma. Puma gets stunned, flashed away. Thomas Shen gets it done again. That's his first kill of the game.
No flash.
And now Gravitas are looking for a second kill. Going to be a lot harder to take out Leona. But what a way for the Gravitas bot lane to show up here.
Yeah, that's huge. That's just a big statement, right? Flash playing in lane, and there's no respect given, right? As soon as Puma uses those cooldowns on the wave, they decide, yeah, now's the time to pull the trigger. Puma has teleported back, so again, whilst it is a death and a big CS lead for the side of Gravitas, they were going to be able to pick up that wave. But I mean, this is good for Gravitas, right? Because what was a little bit of a disaster topside, now they have kind of that strong point bot side, Thomas Shen on this Aphelios, and I don't mind this, but Puma's level 6, has the potential to trade here. I mean, he may even pick up a Double.
I mean, a Pillar of Flame, right, straight into the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's enough to say, okay, we don't want this fight anymore.
I was going to say, I don't think Gravitas wanted that. I think they thought they wanted that, but I'm not certain. I think that is close to a Michael Double.
Well, if it was to happen, it was written in the stars to be cast by yourself at the end of the night, wasn't it? It certainly was.
True, yeah. It would have happened.
But it is a big win, as you say, for Gravitas, right? Finding that kill in the 2v2 straight out. The fact that they go top side, nobody isn't actually going to fall on down. I say it, and now he's going for another 1v1 as Maximize locks him in place. Q2 soon to follow. And hookshot to ensure that there is nowhere to run or hide.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a misplay from nobody. I would love to see him use the Gwen ultimate more as a resource to stay in lane or to combat the aggression from Maximize, as opposed to using it when he's as good as dead, right? Ooh.
They're not done just yet, though. That's the ultimate all burnt
That's
on one
bolo,
target,
bolo.
so that ain't bouncing anywhere.
Yeah.
Akano on his own gets it done. Subjugate, take him out of the game. Now looking to go on towards Beats. Best lane flash, only a Hex flash. But what can you do when Kyose comes through? He finds that kill and gets his first in the mid lane. That's Gravitas ahead in kills, but it might just be Order ahead in golds.
Ahead in kills. And it's a big play bot side of the map for Gravitas. Not trying to diminish that, but I think they lose out in the end, right? What's happening top side? Your Gwen, who's again, that's not a tank. Like, Gwen needs to do damage. He's 2 levels down. He's about, 30 CS down, and not having a fun time in this lane. And, if there's one champion that you've got to be confident in Maximize to carry on, I dare say it's the Camille.
Oh no, I've just seen 10 minutes Divine Sunder, and he is so far gone in this matchup already.
And he's got teleport here, so it's probably a little bit aggressive here from Gravitas.
Good group up, but there is no dragon to contest right now, but a fight is going to break out regardless. He's holding his nerve, no TP still. Destiny goes out, looking to try and find where the stragglers of Gravitas are running to.
This is the problem too, when your top laner gets so strong, or for any role for that matter, nobody doing his best to farm these waves, but you start to lose your strong side too, because Maximize just has access to the teleport now, and he you know what, he doesn't even need to teleport. Like, out of base, he walks bot side, and he's the one that creates that chaos. So the thought of him coming to that play is what makes Gravitas really hesitant and not wanting to commit. But I mean, I think nobody's just as good as dead. Like, if he plays in this wave, what can he do?
Doesn't get much easier than this right now. Akano juggling away, Biggs flashing in, following it forward, dropping him down to 20%. Kevy finds that kill. Now, what can Kyose do to try and turn the odds back into Gravitas' favor? Not much. Forced to go back to the wave and realize that his jungler's gone for 10.
Just really good timing on that aggression from Kevy, right? Knows that Beats has a window, and it's a small window because Gravitas have been winning bot lane, but he has that window to walk into the red side jungle of Gravitas. Flashes the wall. But now no flash for lane. So maybe Gravitas punished.
Well, I'm looking at the minimap, and I am seeing Chungi once again without ultimate, still very keen to force a fight. Could be topside again, as Kevy's doing a little bit of counter jungling. Might just sneak himself into the lane. And well and truly remove Gwen from the game.
I'll be honest, Maximize could literally freeze top lane and also take turret, but he could freeze top lane like the Ice Age if he wanted to. I mean, we'd call Queen Elsa because it's absolutely frozen if he wants, but I mean, then nobody would just have access to absolutely zero CS. Because if you think about it right, there's nothing to play for. This tier 2 turret is a little too deep for Maximize to take. So if he lets this wave come back and just freezes, I don't know what nobody does. I think he's just in no man's land farming jungle camps. But, I mean, like if the wave keeps getting pushed under turret, Maximize can leave and create pressure mid lane, hold the thought.
Yeah, at that point, what do? You just look to try and group up the rest of your team and say, I'm at a deficit, but I'm going to group up and try and find fights. Oh. Once again, Floppy don't miss. Flash play, gets it done, removes B.
The brand.
So many TPs coming in to back this one up. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but look at Kevy getting it done. There's another one, but talk about Puma. The burn. Double kill found for him, double for Kevy. And soon to be an ace with only Kyose here to protect.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked like a good play from Gravitas, but it's just such close quarters that even a brand from behind is going to do so much damage in those skirmishes. Then, I mean, the power of the Graves, the power of everyone else just coming on through, a little bit too much damage. I mean, look at that. That brand, I think brand was 0-2-0 at that point. Or maybe he didn't have any kills to his name at least. And he's just done this in this skirmish. I mean, he's literally just got multiple bounces, killed multiple members, and I'm a believer in the brand pick, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously a bit of a rough laning phase, but seeing what it can do.
Bot lane, welcome back to these stages. Fantastic flash away.
Oh!
But a nice little drag back as Thomas Shane gets him in tower range. Kevy is just able to dance around it.
So this Graves has gone to Gale Force, which is a build that scales a lot better into the mid-late game. But you have like less of a power spike in the early to mid game, right? Yep. But, you know, keep in mind, he's a level ahead, he's 3 kills ahead, he's 40 CS ahead, he's a bounty. Like, it doesn't matter what he's building at this point. He's just going to do so much work in these team fights because there's no armor as well. So in terms of lethality, if you wanted to, it would have been fine going this game, but a little bit of an insurance policy, a little bit more damage in the late game, and maybe because they felt they had so much magic damage with the I guess the Leona, the brand, the Twisted Fate, that he wanted to be that insurance policy come later in the game if Maximize is having a rough time.
Interesting to see how he fleshes this build out. You'd imagine it'd be probably like an AD carry.
Yeah, pretty good.
Infinity Edge, Collectors, all the rest of it.
Yeah, Collector, Phantom Dancer, whatever you want. Nice solo kill picked up here from Kyose. And I mean, we haven't said his name that much this game, but what can Kyose realistically do?
He's been slightly achieving.
Oh, whatever, cast the curse. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what can he do?
I was gonna say, what can he do? He's played well. I mean, everything's collapsing around him besides bot lane, and then he does that. So I'm sorry, Kyose, for that one.
The rest of the team, though, will try to revenge his death by picking up the second Herald of the game.
I'll be honest, Skimmy, I was looking so much at the scoreboard that I didn't even take stock of the gold lead. I'll be completely honest.
It's just crept up on us, I'll be honest with you. It started off in the top lane, obviously dominance there, but a few team fights, a few crushing blows, and now we find ourselves 50 minutes into this game, up by 5k. We might just run it back again top side. We certainly are. 3 from 3 is what Maximize is looking to do to this poor man. He's saying, welcome back to the LCO. Now you're 0-4.
I really did think that maybe he'd trade back there. You gotta root for the underdog, right? Like nobody getting the trade kill there. But Maximize just showing his class at the moment in this game. Killer, hook, flash available though.
Floppy on the money, just does not miss these skill shots. Just needs a little bit of damage. Needs the correct pick target to look for. Laned really well. It actually came out of laning phase with a huge CS lead, up by 20, I believe, at the time.
I mean, it's probably a rough statement, but I feel like Thomas Shen, Floppy, Kyose have all had like relatively good games, right? But the matchup top side, like the triangle into Graves hasn't really allowed him to get anything done. Now he's behind. Obviously, top side just got maximized, so that's unfortunate. But then you just take stock of the rest of the map, and like it's a 7,000 gold lead, and Order of just. I mean, I'm lost for words.
You're lost for words, I can tell, mate.
No, because, I mean, what's normally the strong point for Order is their bot lane. It's Puma and Beats. They're normally the two that are really either taking Order to the finish line or setting them up for success. But they had a bit of a shambles bot side, right? In terms of the 2v2. But it's just been Chungy, Kevy, and Maximize at 17 minutes that have been able to accrue this lead. Yeah. And it's hard to break down because there's no one that's like, oh, aside from Maximize and the solo kills, it's hard to say, you know, this person's done this person's done that, but it's just been clinical. It's just been what we expect from Order now.
I think straight 2v2 wise, it's a fair point to make. As soon as they've grouped up, though, you can clearly see the value in these picks. But I think there's the beauty of a team like Order. They definitely can carry 4 or 5 positions. Yeah. We have seen that whenever Kevy gets his Graves, he will carry. Seems to be a given at this point, given how consistent he has been.
And I mean, Kyosei, I thought Kyosei might die there, to be honest with you.
Good to see Maximize though having a pop-off game. A few times he's been bullied in his own regards, so good to see him on a comfort champion and showcasing what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty methodical from Order here on out. There's this early into the game, with this much of a lead, at times it's a little bit, well, it's hard to close out, right? And sometimes a little bit of nothing happens because you're just waiting for the Baron. Like, you're waiting literally for a 20-minute Baron. You're waiting for your Dragon stack up. You're just denying jungle camps. And a lot of the times, Gravitas aren't going to contest their jungle camps. Like, it's all free real estate at this moment, right? You know, they've just bought a nice piece of land. They're building their house on these jungle camps. And eventually, Skimmy, if you know anything about real estate, there'll be a return on the investment. You know, house prices will go up. These jungle camps will cost more and more. And then Akano will be further and further behind, like we're seeing a 3-level lead already.
Yeah, they might just actually cash in the asset at the end of this one and claim the victory as well.
Yeah. So, whilst it looks like not much is happening, this is all gold denial and a gold lead. Oh.
So much mobility on this Graves right there. Flash, Gale Force all having to be used, and Beats becomes the focus. Akano flashing forward, hits the chomp and falls for his sins, but he'll take that.
Look, probably not worth, but that's a statement chomp.
Certainly was.
That's a chomp.
That's why I hyped it up.
Yeah, it's a chomper. He definitely, Akano ordered a meal from DoorDash before the game started and just got a flash bite in before the, before that skirmish. Yeah,
blood sugar running a little bit low. Needed a bit of food in the back pocket. Gets it done.
I reckon he ordered a HSP.
Oh, mate.
The chomp, there's no way
I can't think of anything worse than an HFP and then you go into a competitive match.
Nah,
the food coma, can you imagine? 20 minutes in, you've just lost the game by yourself.
A lot of brain fog, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not a good, probably not a good performance meal.
Even Kyosei agrees with us. Thumbs up.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. I thought he said something somewhere and I was like, wait, what? But I mean, like, this is just so sad at this point, man. Like, because your jungler doesn't have tank stats. It's a Divine Thunderer, which is actually like an offensive item.
Yeah.
But also you're not getting gold now because when you do get access to your jungle camps, like that's your solo laners because they need to be stronger than you if you have any chance coming back in this game. And it's just a miserable time to be a jungler.
So I suppose if we break it down, 8k gold lead now at a 20-minute mark here for Order. The game really is theirs to lose, it would seem. What would you be looking at for Gravitas as a way of coming back? Is it looking to try and hit some side lanes, bait up some TPs, you know, maybe just flip Baron?
Well, you're really just hoping that Miracle Bubble lands. And I mean, the Miracle Bubble is honestly 2 members because at 4v5, Order probably win at this point. And I mean, this might be... Ooh, doesn't opt in for that one. But I mean, yeah, you're just hoping for the Kyosei. The Kyosei effect, I'll call it. Here we go.
The man, the myth, the legend, forcing out flashes wherever he goes. A single ability can put a cooldown on repeat.
That's too much damage. That's one ultimate ability and everyone's half health.
Yeah. Kevy sends him a warning message. There is no comeback potential, but there's another bubble. But there's no pedal star to follow. It's delayed. He was on the flank. Yeah. The rest of his team grouped up in mid. You can see the potential, Jubes.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like, what do you do now? Because nobody can't stop Maximize at this point. You know, he's got 2 items, he's got the life steal now. And I mean, look at that. This is the play that they're calling. Nobody is sacking bot side. Oh.
Well, they've had enough of this one. They're going to go for the
Here we
fight.
go.
Thomas Shen finds one. Moonlight Vigil doing so much AoE damage. Can they find a second? Where's the bubble? Onto Chunky. Get him down. Shut down.
Max?
Now onto Maximize. Reset it with the ultimate. Buff for the hook. Chunk on through and nearly get a triple. And he finds himself a double, but I saw myself the biggest multi-kill angle for Max if I'd ever said so.
Mate, he just needed a little bit more cleave damage to come on through there. But you'd have to say, all round, all things considered, game state and all, that's a win for Gravitas.
Huge.
Right? They play that team fight to a T. I mean, watch this here. Hook lands again, gets the play. Kyose on the back end. For me, Thomas Shen, in this particular fight, nobody creates a little bit of separation. Maximize comes in on the flank. Good play and box. Stalls a lot of time there, Floppy. And then Thomas Shen just doing a lot of damage and cleanses. What? Because why not?
Well, it's the brand effect when you do group up. And it's to be expected. Tell you what, I've had my fair few horror stories from ARAM. Because obviously that is an important talking point in comparison for competitive video games.
Well, I'm actually a firm believer that ARAM... I used to be the biggest, like, if I check the OPGG and saw ARAM... Oh! Can't talk.
Oh my god, Floppy, stop it.
He didn't play.
I would have loved to have seen him follow that one. Now onto Beats, pops the locket. Doesn't connect with the solo flare, but Destiny goes out. Can Order find themselves the stun target? Chunky just drops on top of Thomas Shen's head. He's got the snipers. He can kill you from afar. Moonlight Vigil. Oh, so close.
Wow.
So close. Chunky gets the kill.
Oh, Gwen's here. This might be a big bounty.
Gravitas are just punching up so well at the stage. They are down, what, 7k? And still, look at the scoreboards, but they're finding shutdowns.
The Aphelios is slowly coming on. Well, I mean, this probably doesn't make sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. Slowly coming online. I had to reword it. I had to stop myself and reword it. But I mean, that's just a good skirmish from Gravitas. Kyose is just causing so many problems. Like, look at this. Bang, Beats out of the fight, right? You don't have your support anymore to participate. Then, I think, okay, Kyose has gone for the biggest int of the 20th century because he's about to blast cone into Maximize, but creates so much space and distance as well. Then look at Thomas Shen here. Gets teleported on, still does so much return damage on the back end before he actually falls down, which a little bit of a moment, I guess, falling down there to the wild cards. But again, it's just really good kiting back from Gravitas, and they look like the team at the moment that's playing with the gold lead.
Well, I asked you the question, what, 5 minutes ago, how do Gravitas come back in a game like this? I said it was Orders to lose, but Gravitas certainly are giving us a we won't die attitude here. They won't give up.
And whilst we got some tickets to the Gravitas hype train, you know, Order's still driving that train, right?
Oh, sure. They're a conductor.
Yeah, very firm, that's the word. Very firm control of this game. You know, Maximize is still able to sit in this side lane and pick up the solo bolos onto nobody. And even at this point, like, Chunky doesn't need to group. All he wants to do is force Kyose into a side lane. Zoe in a side lane is not a very useful champion. There's no terrain to play around. There's no vision denial, and you just don't get the full use of the kit. So they just need to get a little bit of composure back into this game and really focus on what worked for them in the early game.
I'm excited to see, though, Juves, what a Prowler's Claw Zombie looks like. That could be a little bit explosive.
I imagine you just go into melee range and drop asleep and then get yourself some distance.
Tap him on the head there.
But yeah, Floppy, honestly, has been playing so well.
Thomas Shen, we're seeing these moments of pure brilliance, and sometimes he just is unlucky to miss out in that previous fight, right, where he dives to the wild cards. It was an opportunity there for him to, you know, find more than just the one. But this bot lane for Gravitas really bringing it to what we've really coined as being, you know, the MVP bot lane for the league.
And what do we think about the Brand Leona experiment?
Look, I don't know about the laning size of it, but in terms of team fighting, I think it just offers so much. I think it's very much the same Ziggs effect, right? It's not a Mega Inferno Bomb, but the wildfire, it spreads around, and it's just doing so much. The combination with the likes of Kevy, those two together could pretty much do, you know, your whole HP bar.
I think the itemization is so good too. You get the Lianji, you get the Demonic Embrace, you combine that with the Brand passive, you're just burning. You're just perma burn.
Yeah.
You're on fire. So, I mean, look, KV still has the 3-level lead, and that's a bit of a disaster for Gravitas, right? It's still an 8k gold lead, so all these skirmishes didn't really result in much. What they did is just gave Gravitas a bit of breathing room, gave them some time to get maybe to some items. But in terms of the game, in terms of the context of the game, Maximize, I was saying Maximize, but Order very much in the driving seat. And if they just play this one a little bit slower and methodically chip away at these turrets, then you know they should be in good stead.
If anything, it's kind of just stalled the game out, not from ballooning any further than it already is.
Makes you wonder too.
Yeah, looking at those mid laners who still have those Dark Seal stacks. Actually, Chungi going for the Magi, so he's feeling pretty confident about this one that he can write a few more chapters.
Yeah, I mean, he's got what, 8 pages, not selling on in any stores anytime soon. Still going through the actual revisions of the book.
Yeah, still having the publisher interviews.
Yep.
Working at the.
I think he's still coming up with the title, to be honest with you.
Ah, true.
Yeah, that's what I've heard at least.
Yep, the opening page.
Yep.
Who does he attribute it to? I'm curious to see actually how Order do close this one out, because you would say that they're primed to pick up the soul point. That's up in 2 minutes 40.
I mean, the one thing that nobody's done is actually close the gap in. Like, he was down 2 levels, right?
Yeah.
So now he's level 15, level 15. Partly. Ooh, this Baron actually melts, by the way, with the brand.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious.
Percentile burn.
Does he
He's
get
a Kano here, too little, too late. He's been locked in place, getting lower. It's not enough. He can't smite steal it away. But can they find the kills? And can they deny these Baron buffs? Chungi in no man's land. He doesn't have a flash. They've denied at least 2.
What's happening bot side? 1v1?
Bot side still seems to be with the actions at to try and break open and hit, but he's not going to inspire that cannon much more.
That's a big win for Order, right? 3 Baron buffs. You know, more importantly, it's kept on Maximize, because, you know, you could even lose all your Nashes. As long as Maximize has it, he's the key. Because he'll be able to win the side lane, as he already is, or he'll be able to create enough pressure to come to the group and hold the thought.
Uh-oh. It's a flank. Pillar of Flame. Floppy's just gone. Gone before you can even talk about it. Fantastic flash there from Thomas Shen. Hookshot soon to connect. Time to gear up, chop up, and get yourself ready for the soul point in 90 seconds. That could be the decider.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd actually make the argument, in hindsight, that teleport, at least the double teleport, wasn't worth it. I think the teleport from Maximize to create or generate pressure topside, as well as have the presence to be at that dragon, is more important than the kills that they picked up there, right? Obviously, you know, they thought they were going to get 2 or 3 kills, and then potentially push down with that Baron. So I understand why they teleported. But in terms of the dragon, it could have been Gravitas could have been way worse for wear if Camille had the teleport. Nobody just going the full Chad way to that. I wouldn't have walked that way.
He just doesn't care, right?
No,
Just walking on vision says, what's going to happen? Where are you going to be? Why would you be here?
Yeah, you go dive me now, mate. I've got 2 items in the stopwatch.
I've hit my power spike. Took me a while, but I'm here.
Yep.
He'll have the TP though, so I'm not sure how much of this wave he can push out before he has to inevitably group up, but I'm sure Maximize is well too disciplined to know that I need to stay around. He's already going for the reset. I'm sure he's just looking to reset and redeploy.
And that's just the straight teleport. I mean, they've committed to this play, and it looks like we're just going to get a team fight to...
Chungi bot.
Yeah, I mean, they need to answer that. Like, he's got leech bane. That's, this is game if they don't go back, to be honest with you.
They've forced their hands. The Infernal Soul might just be the biggest bait of it all. And then Kevin removes Kyose, the saving grace, you'd have to say, for Gravitas. They're losing the fight, they're losing the base, the Inib's gone. And now he's working his way on towards these Nexus turrets. The fight does break out, however, nobody's focused, doing whatever he can with the needle work, but he gets immune upon because he goes golden with the stopwatch. Akano.
The bounce, look
at it.
Just
absolutely shredded by Q2 as Maximize comes on through. And he'll take you all down. Picture in picture tells me, though, it's an ace. And it's a game-winning play because Chungi's not there, and that's what an 8k Goldie looks like when it becomes 12k, as they can look to hit this Nexus and keep themselves firmly locked in as second place in the standings.
Yeah, and Order using their composition to a T here, right? You know, thought it would be Maximize ending this one, to be honest with you. Look at the brand damage. 5.2k on the back end there.
It was just too dirty, we had to remove it off the screen, wasn't it?
Yeah, had to get rid of it fast.
very disgusting. 0 damage there for the Twisted Fate, but he wasn't a team fighter, he was a game ender. Big Chungy getting it done there for the boys, getting them across the finishing line. And once again, you know, Order giving us a little taste of something new,
Yeah.
but looking so damn clean on it.
I mean, you got to be happy when you win a game when you try something new too, right? Because that's not the best Order. Like, you can say what you like, but the best Order is Puma on like a marksman on the Ziggs, whatever. But you know, it's the first time we're seeing them with a brand. First time we're seeing them play that lane. Yet they're still able to pick up wins against Gravitas, who are a good team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just fantastic and a statement from Order, really diversifying how they play the game, leading into the business end of the split.
It's a big statement, Mac, isn't it? The fact that you've got all these ideas of what your players can do. We talk about flexibility being a key word to describe this team, but if they're finding all the success across anything that they try, then playoffs is looking like a very exciting time.
Yeah, at this point, it's looking like a shoo-in. I think they've definitely got enough wins to have secured that playoff spot. So now it's just, you know, working out whatever kinks there are left. And I can't see too many. Every time I watch Order, it looks like things just go from, you know, good to better is a terrible term, but that's the one I'm going to use anyway. So screw you all. That's my favorite term from now on. Now, Order, of course, doing a very damn good job, but Gravitas, there are a few moments where they could have turned the tide. But again, right at the end, it was, you have Dragon, I have W. So Order happily took that one with open arms.
Seen that happen a few times this season, haven't we? So it's always comical when it works out that way, but as Juice mentioned to close out that match, right, Order clearly playing their comp to a T. They had the split push potential with Maximize. They had the ultimate effect that obviously Chunky can just backdoor if need be, and the fact is that they baited Gravitas into taking a fight. As soon as you saw Kyose dead, you're thinking, this fight here, you're thinking, well, you know, you've committed to the fight, you're locked in place, you can't recall, your base is in ruin, and checkmate.
Yeah, just didn't really go to plan. It looked like there was a couple of moments where they could have got back in. Look, Akano, I really love his volley, but his trundle I wasn't as big of a fan of, unfortunately. But maybe that's just because he was up against Kevy on the Graves, and we've seen that a few times now. Maybe it's something that these teams should start to think about perma-banning up against Order because Kevy's damn good on Graves. But then, you know, if you ban the Graves, there's so many other things Kevy can pick and carry on. So, however, we need to carry on with the show. 12k gold lead for Order, doing a damn good job there. And it was Brand just smashing out the damage.
Yeah. I mean, Brand's that type of champion where you can die and still dish out. As long as you get that ultimate off, we were seeing those bounces in the team fights. The ratios are insane. Obviously, and Brand thrives in chaos, right? In those like jungle fight choke areas where maybe a team with a little more coordination or a team that's a little less desperate, they're better for wear against the Brand. But I mean, it creates another headache for teams to think about when they verse this Order lineup.
Is that the first time we've seen Brand in this split of the LCO?
Yeah.
It is, okay. So that's pretty interesting. Someone else that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Let's bring that back into the conversation and see what you thought of the game and also who you have for the winner's interview.
I do have Chungy down on the sidelines. I don't know, now I'm starting talking like Mac. Chungy, thank you so much for joining me and congratulations on the win. I've got to ask the really important question straight up. Brand, where did this pick come from?
I think it came from the LPL. Like, I think they started playing Brand ADC and then we just stole the pick. So we started practicing with it.
Well, it worked out for you guys really well, you know. Except for maybe, I'm not going to say early game, but there were a few fights during that game that kind of really went in favor of Gravitas. They did put up a pretty solid fight. Were you guys worried that you might not scale or be able to take some of the team fights?
So we knew that we outscaled because we could just win through split pushing. And most of the fights that Gravitas won, we weren't just respecting them. So like our setups were really poor, and they capitalized on our mistakes in team fights.
I do also want to ask about, not having Saffron in that top lane, instead nobody stepping in. Did it change much on the end for you guys? And was there anything draft-wise that was a little bit unexpected?
No, nothing wasn't unexpected. It was just nobody was the top laner for our coaches last year, and the game plan was to just 3-man dive him like every single wave, but Maximize just solo killed him. So yeah, that was the plan, I guess.
Max just doing his own thing up there at top lane. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and congratulations again on the win.
Thank you.
Well, good to hear from Chungy as always. So I guess he's pretty happy with that W. And now they're going to continue to be tied second with Chiefs after that win. So no complaints from the order camp, I'd say. And I dare say no complaints from the player that delivered, thanks to DoorDash, this week, today, this game. It is your boy Maximize in the top lane, getting them dubs, doing such a good job. 66% kill participation, 9, 1, and 5. 12 wards placed, and a solo bolo.
Yeah, all you have to do is watch that early game. I mean, watch like the first 11 levels, maybe 10 levels even, from Max, and you understand why he's the player that delivered. Now, he didn't actually get the finishing sequence, like he wasn't the one that hit the Nexus, but he played Disruption. He took down Thomas Shen in the last team fight and just had a really good performance.
Yeah, and of course, he didn't have to ask for this one either. He didn't have to say, I really just want the player that delivered. He just got it by playing his game and winning his game.
Is he an asker?
Well, remember at the start of the split, he was like, oh man, I just really want the DoorDash player that delivered, and he tried to play Lee Sin and then kind of got destroyed. Oh, well, maybe it wasn't destroyed. It was when he played Karma, right? When he started to go, oh, if I play Karma, like, we win. But I can't get the DoorDash player that delivered. You remember that
flashy
one?
enough to get it. That's right.
I'm not saying there's any coincidences, but the time he gets the player that delivered, I'm on the broadcast. So feel free to...
Yeah. I send it both our ways. I see what you're putting up.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to say it.
Bring it down.
Because then, like...
It makes us look bad.
Yeah, right? I am a professional. I hold myself to a standard that you wouldn't believe.
They can fill in the blanks.
Okay, well, you guys, stop shilling. Stop trying to steal everyone's vouchers. We have part 2 of the Gravitas, QSA, Floppy, and Saf interview. But just after these replays, don't go anywhere. We still have one more game coming up. It's Peace and Direwolves just after the break.
I'm at a deficit, but I'm going to group up and try and find fight. Oh. Once again, Floppy don't miss. Flash play, gets it done, removes B. So many TPs coming in to back this one up. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but look at Kevy getting it done. There's another one, but talk about Puma, the burn. And then Kevin removes Kyose, the saving grace, you'd have to say for Gravitas. They're losing the fight, they're losing the base, the inhib's gone. And now he's working his way on towards these Nexus turrets. The fight does break out, however, nobody's focused, doing whatever he can with the inner work, but it gets immune upon because he goes golden with the stopwatch. Akano,
the bounce, look at it.
Just absolutely shredded by Q2 as Maximize comes on through. And he'll take you all down. Picture in picture tells me though, it's an ace.
That's so easy. Oh, no, it isn't. Oh.
That's so easy. Oh, wait, no, it's not. This makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's
No, this one's easy. This one's easy.
Really? I didn't know this one.
Oh, Thomas
Hurry
Sheen.
up, mate.
Sorry, I changed it like
Did you say Thomas Shen?
Thomas Sheen every time.
Yeah, I said Thomas Shen as well.
I was gonna put me.
Oh, you did as well.
I was gonna put Nathan.
I was gonna put me,
but then I think about Thomas Shen. And it's just,
Yeah, I was gonna put me.
He actually is Thomas Shen.
Then I was gonna
every
put-
single time.
He's a bit of an
I was
alien.
gonna put me, then Poltron, then I was like Thomas Shen.
Oh, that's easy. It's me. You actually is me. You guys are so like, it's actually me because I will tilt you half the time, but I also carry the comms every single time. It's actually me.
It is not.
But it's morale boost. It's not carrying comms.
No. But the thing is, you guys all grief and show up late, and I'm the only one that actually
No,
gets you guys
that's
on
cap.
time. No,
I've actually been there
It's
on time.
actually me.
I don't know how it's Thomas Shen.
How is it
Maybe
Thomas Shen?
maybe like-
It's not Thomas Shen.
Maybe
I don't
like,
know
can
who
we
it
win?
No,
Question
it
mark?
can't be Thomas Shen. Okay, wait. The thing is, I'm like the voice of reason, okay? You guys, like, we'll be down 15k gold, and you're like, oh, guys, I think it's actually winnable. Like, oh, you know, the inhibitor's still up. You know, guys, we can still win the game. And it's like they've all outscaled us. Yeah. Oh, we can still win. Yeah, not happening. I'm just logical. But can it be unintentionally funny? I think it's unintentionally funny.
Putting in a famous quote by this person.
Thomas Shen.
He says Uga Bigger all
The
the
thing,
time.
is, the thing is, he just says some really delusional stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, it's funny to laugh at. It's funny to laugh at.
Yeah.
I'll just say it now.
He definitely has some interesting comms.
Yeah.